They're behind, I was told as I stared at their test score. Tears streamed down my face. It's my fault. Next time I'll do more. I'm working on the weekends, planning reading, writing, and grammar. But I will start staying later after school. I'll add it to my planner. Oops, I forgot. I have a faculty meeting, an ARD, and a 504. I begin to feel overwhelmed. My spirit feels drained to the core. But I was told my students are struggling, so I will make sure I do more. The bell rings, and it is time for reading. My stomach hurts because I made copies during lunch when I should have been eating. But I just wanted to make sure everything was perfect and that I had differentiated lesson plans. I picked my kids up from lunch and I noticed the holes in Tommy's red Vans. We're back in the classroom and I hate having to pass out test scores. I see the look on Sally's face as she hides her tests beneath her feet on the tile floor. Sally draws better than any kid I have ever seen, but I can tell that all she's thinking about is that she scored a 15. I remind her that her worth can never be found in a test score, but the damage has already been done. She tells me she hates reading and she's always bored. I wish my school district didn't make us use scripted curriculum that all the kids hate. We are told what books to read and how long it should take. I try to make the lessons as fun as I can. I try to squeeze in things they love into our jam-packed lesson plans. But if admin do walkthroughs, they might not understand. They will question why we got off track and remind me to keep up with the pacing guide, so I stick to the script and can't wait until we get to go outside. We have been stuck in one room all day, and I know they are ready to breathe in fresh air. We approach the playground, and I hear a little boy tell his teacher she isn't being fair. She rolls her eyes at him and gives him a mean stare. She tells him he has to sit out for 5 minutes because his parents didn't sign his reading log. I'm too scared to say anything, even though I know what she did kind of feels wrong. I wonder what his home life is like. Maybe his family is just really busy. But before I know it, I hear a little voice ask me if I think Janie might feel dizzy. I look over at Janie as she walks in large circles by herself on her tiptoes. I respond to her concerned classmate who's looking up at me with beautiful brown skin, pigtails, and cute pink bows. Well, why don't you go ask her? Maybe she would like a friend. That's a good idea, Mrs. Wilson. Then I watch their friendship bloom and begin. I'm listening to birds chirping and children laughing, despite all their many unique differences. But now recess is over. The kids let out a sigh because they can feel what the difference is. But, Mrs. Wilson, we want to keep playing. We just got to level 2 in Spider-Man. I wish we weren't on such a tight schedule. I wish I didn't have to follow the boring science plan. Our unit this week is on light, and the scripted plans have them drawing the sun. I don't understand why we can't just extend recess and learn outside and have fun. But I am their teacher, and I know my mood sets the tone. So I ignore my instincts, and we head back to our class home. 5 years pass, and things have only gotten worse. It feels like since COVID, the whole system has become cursed. I decided to leave 3rd grade. I was drained from teaching to the test. If this job was really about putting kids first, then this job would be the best. But I've always just felt empty inside, behind the fake smiles and awards that sit on my desk. My students are what keep me returning year after year. I love them so much it hurts. That's why this job always brings me to tears. Why do we go against the research? Silence in a classroom isn't better than children working with their peers. I'm in a new grade level now. Kindergarten will be so fun. We will make crafts and paint and run around in the sun. To my surprise, kindergarten has changed so much since 1999. I never felt this stressed at their age, but the state wasn't telling us we were all behind. And how can they all be behind when they are only 5? I don't remember kids in my kindergarten class breaking crayons and throwing chairs. I remember laying down for nap time and knowing how much my teacher cares. But my district calls all the shots, and I need to show they all made 55% growth. But my soul starts feeling so empty, and I constantly am getting strep throat. A few months later, I'm hospitalized, and I can barely stay afloat. I keep crying to my principal, and she tells me February is when things will get better. I'm crying every day in my room during lunch, but I refuse to be a quitter. I have to keep going. I cannot give up on my class. My antidepressants aren't helping. I'm questioning the system and throwing their developmentally inappropriate curriculum in the trash. All I want for my students is for them to know they are so loved. When I picked them up from PE, I met with 20 hugs. These kids deserve so much better, but I just don't know if I have any fight left in me. I feel gaslit by adults when I ask why 5-year-olds need to take tests on a screen. When I try to stand up for my students, I get told I'm defensive and defiant, but I cannot support labeling kids with autism and ADHD as non-compliant. I am tired of teachers thinking giving children Adderall is the solution. I know what it's like to have to take pills your whole life, and it only leads to more confusion. Maybe the children are just bored, overstimulated, and tired. We took away naps and replaced it with assessments that are required. It's the last week of February, and my husband is begging me to quit. He tells me he misses his wife, and that no job should make you feel like this. My soul feels like it is screaming and punching, but I refuse to give up this fight. I can tell my grip is loosening, even though I am trying to hold on with all my might. What will my students think? What will the parents say? How will my school react? I'm diagnosed with the flu, making sub-plans at midnight so my students stay on track. I can't remember my why anymore. My passion, once so bright, has been completely choked out. I start to realize this system wasn't made for sensitive people like me. I have to choose a different route. I swallow my pride, though I can still feel the lump in my throat. I can't save my students from the inside when I'm standing on a sinking boat. I resigned mid-year, feeling terrible I left my team to pick up my mess. But I can no longer ignore the fact that my soul needs rest. It takes me months without a job to slowly start to heal. We're surviving off my husband's firefighter income, but at least my nervous system can finally breathe and chill. 5 months pass by, which brings us to now, and that old version of me no longer feels real. I can now use the restroom when I want to and have more than 20 minutes to eat my meal. I haven't been sick since I left, and I now work from home. My new job prioritizes my mental health, and I start to realize I'm not alone. Some people might say I just wasn't meant to be a teacher, and to that I would say that you're wrong. I will always be a teacher at heart, but a standardized system is not where I belong. God created me to feel free, not confined, stressed, and weak. I'm not saying all schools are bad, but I do know it isn't for me. I'm allowed to share my experience. I'm allowed to be honest and speak. I don't regret teaching in the classroom. At one point, it was my only dream. But maybe there's someone out there who thinks similar to me. Maybe they're stressed out, but they won't give up because teaching has become their identity. And to those, I would say it's okay to do whatever is best for you. In fact, it is absolutely necessary. You can speak up and fight back and lay down the heavy burden that you carry. I am not anti-public school, but I am allowed to question the system. I pray Jesus speaks through me, through his kindness and his wisdom. Even though I left mid-year, I can finally say I feel proud. Turns out, when you don't feel silenced, you can finally stand tall and be loud. I haven't had a drop of alcohol in over 150 days. I can't explain how much my life has changed in such a positive way. This year hasn't been an easy one, but it's also been nothing short of transforming. I am so thankful for this life. It feels so good to speak my mind and finally stop performing.